Jesus freak here. Now, I'm not going to say necessarily that this is a wrong understanding or whatever. I'm just curious where the translators came up with it, how they, tweak the text to get it. And I'm going to explain where I came from. This regards Deuteronomy 33:27, which is a pretty famous verse, and there's a hymn that took a catchphrase, I guess, from it. Now, first I'm going to read this from the KJV, so you have a baseline. And the KJV reads as follows. The eternal God is thy refuge, and underneath are the everlasting arms. And he shall thrust out the enemy from before thee, and shall say, Destroy them. Now, as a sort of a placebo check, I'm going to quote here from an NASB. Since it's a conservative translation that doesn't engage a lot in higher criticism, especially in the Old Testament. And the verse reads here as follows. The eternal God is a dwelling place, and underneath are the everlasting arms. And he drove out the enemy from before you and said, Destroy. Now I'm going to read my own translation from Latin, from the Vulgate. His dwelling place is on high, and beneath the everlasting arms he casts his enemy from before your face, and says, Be smashed to bits. Now here I have the SAAS translation, which is from the Greek, because it's Eastern Orthodox, and they consider the Septuagint to be Theopneustos. The same verse, this is a somewhat paraphrastic Greek, but somewhat literally rendered into English. And the protection of the rule of God, and who is under the strength of the everlasting arms. He will cast out the enemy from before your face, saying, Destroy. Now, this is what puzzles me. Here's how the NRSV handled it. And my question is, where are they getting these emendations? He subdues the ancient gods, shatters the forces of old. He drove out the enemy before you and said, Destroy. And I commented in one of my chat rooms on this matter. I said, generally, there's two emendations here. Ancient gods and forces of old are a matter of translation differences. But refuge, abode, and subdue? How is that happening? And how is underneath or beneath becoming shatter? I'm not necessarily saying there's a problem here. There may very well be. But I'm not ruling out the possibility that the Masoretic text might have flipped a few bits, since there's a place in the previous chapter where I think it might have happened. But my question is, how did they make this conjecture? Because as someone who doesn't know Hebrew, I don't know how similar the words are. I can at least understand the Deuteronomy 32:8 thing, where God became Israel. And yes, we have a documentation that suggests this. That, El became Israel. And I mean, it's not too hard to figure out what happened there. But I have no idea what's going on here. And I'm genuinely curious. Jesus, freak out.